Hey, y'all, listen. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving yesterday. I really, really did. I enjoyed time with the family. We had fun. We had good food and we had good laughs. It was a good day, okay? I had a good Thanksgiving day, a good Thursday. And listen, y'all, it's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm glad to see y'all in the building. Listen, we got stuff to talk about. Tonight's trending topics is, are we quick to judge? Are we quick to judge? And then later on, when we find out something's different, find out a different truth, we're like, oh, okay, maybe I wouldn't have said that if I knew this. Are we quick to judge? So I got this Sam's Club story. Sam's Club, if you don't know, it's like a Costco or BJ's, those big box stores, okay? A woman went there to a Sam's Club out in LA, and she took all the rotisserie chickens that was already cooked. She took them, put them in her cart, and a customer got upset with her. She was pissed with her. It's not like she was stealing them. She purchased them, but the customer was mad. I guess she wanted a rotisserie chicken and wasn't able to get it because that particular customer put all of them in her cart. She had some unkind words to say to the woman. And a lot of people was judging her too. Until later on, they found out that the reason why she bought all of those chickens, because she made chicken dinners to give out to the homeless people. So the thing is, are we too quick to judge? And then our next story, you know, we've been doing some stories about Chicago, right? Chicago got a lot going on. So this Chicago story is about a school where they're accusing the ex-principal and some teachers of grooming the students. Now, I will say in this particular story, they did wait till the students graduated. They were high school students in order to, I guess, engage with them. But the students are saying that the grooming, I believe, started before they graduated. I'm not quite sure what is wrong with these teachers, principals, teacher aides, that they look at kids and they're like, oh, I think I want to date them or sleep with them. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But we're going to talk about that story. And the one story, woo, ooh, Campbell Soup. An executive there said the soup is made from 3D printers, the chicken, and that the soup is for poor people. But that's not the only thing the exec allegedly said. They talked about Indians, saying they were stupid. You know, we as consumers can literally shut a business down in 2.2 seconds if we really wanted to. And you know, as a result of that, I'm like, I don't even want to, I don't buy it. I used to a long time ago, but I said I would never buy Campbell Soups again in my life. I'm good. I'm all the way good. It's for poor people. You know, a lot of these big companies, they kill me how they be talking about the people that keep them in business. It's egregious what this exec said. And we got an ex-employee that's suing. And listen, if you got Netflix and you have not seen it yet, the movie is called Lily. When I tell you, woo, it's about a woman who worked for Goodyear Tires. She worked there over 20 years. And how they discriminated against her, how it was a hostile work environment. They harassed her, they promoted her, they demoted her. And I said, unfortunately, in some companies, that still goes on to this day. But after seeing that, Lily, I was like, I don't know if I will ever buy a Goodyear tire. Not for my car, I'm good. And then she won the lawsuit, and then they appealed, and she lost, and they never paid her a dime. Shame what happened to her. But it's a really good story. It's based on a true person. If you did not see it, it's a really good watch. I watched it yesterday, and I enjoyed every second of it. And laws would change as a result of her fighting the good fight. Listen, people, I ain't going to talk too much because it's Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. I know some of y'all still engaging with family or eating the good food. So let me tell you, we're going to bring the people in the building. So I need what in chat? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Friday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title's called, Are We Too Quick to Judge? We got a story about a woman who went and bought a bunch of rotisserie chickens from Sam's Club, and one of the customers went off on her. She paid for it, though. If I go to Sam's Club, and that's what a big box store is for, right? So you can buy in bulk. If I go to Sam's Club and I buy all the grapes and I pay my money for it, why you get mad at me? We got the Chicago grooming school scandal, and we got the Campbell Soup scandal. But before that, I saw something very disturbing. Let me bring the people in. Hold on. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva, choo-choo.
Choo-choo. Listen, before that, I saw something very disturbing on Instagram. And honey, this man got so upset about a haircut, and he literally went to his car, came back, and brought a pow in on the barber. Let's take a listen.
That's your ankle is going right here. And that corner for corner, it's right here. We talking about right here, right there. Yeah. You start first line, I saw it. But this already seen it's all good, bro. Chill. You tripping right now. I'm tripping. Yeah. I'm tripping. Just chill out. You don't see my shit right there, my nigga. Bro, your shit was up, bro. Guess what, bro? Don't worry about it. Bro, I know, bro. What you mean? You tripping? What you talking about, bro? But why you, bro? I'm like, bro, guess what? Because you your shit was up. My shit, my nigga. No, bro, I'm doing you. Bro, guess what, bro? Excuse me, bro. Bro, don't worry about it, bro. You go so, bro. You was already shit already put, bro. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it, bro. Bro, you finna get attitude about my shit, bro. You tripping? What you mean, bro? You get attitude about my shit, my nigga. You wanna beat me getting mad? Yeah, because it's my shit, it's my hair, man. Bro, you have a good day. And you have a good day, bro. Bro, you tripping. You finna be me getting mad about my shit, bro. You finna be mad about because you get me mad about my hair. What you going on for, my nigga? You took your chain off, nigga, like you made a you like you going about my shit. Bro, I told you have a good day. Hey, bro. You finna do me about what the hell? Come on, nigga. Put your shit back, nigga. I'm gonna leave my shit. We're gonna shoot you more. Get out. I'll put your shit back. Put your shit back. Put your shit back. Hey, I'm gonna piss you. You know, put on the I catch my license. Pussy ass nigga. About my motherfucking haircut, nigga. Pussy whoop your pussy ass nigga, nigga. About my head, nigga. You pulled up about my shit, nigga. You lucky you don't want to kiss a lot of sinners again, nigga. Sit your pussy ass down. Sit your pussy. Yo. So, it's kids in here, man. You look like you lucky. You got worried about. You lucky they got straight. It's kids in here, bro. You lucky I don't want to go back to prison, nigga. You lucky I want to go back to trees, nigga.
How sad is that? Over a haircut, and you went out and came back in with a pow pow, and the kids, you are right, Will, should not have seen that. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I think this is the problem with people that they don't need to have pop-outs because
Yeah.
he's already mentally wrong with him. You get irate with this man. He already gave it to you for free. I mean, what else do you want the man to do? This is sad. Oh my God, because them kids could have got hit by this
Woo.
child. I think he still finna go back.
I don't know. Very sad. Julius, I don't know if you caught that clip and you have something to say.
I did. And I have to be very blunt in my assessment. They're not afraid when we act like this. Not at all. It occurred to me that that man did not care until he heard that other gentleman say, "There are kids in here.
Mm.
There are kids." And those two babies was sitting in that chair until the other gentleman who was monitoring, thank goodness for that other gentleman who was saying, "There are kids in here. Y'all need to cool it." He's like, "Y'all need to go outside." And they didn't question, they went outside. Y'all need to put these pow pows down. They saw nothing. And it's from my understanding, the customer was already given grace. He already had a service done for free, if I'm guessing correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this as someone who is skilled as a hairstylist. And I want to thank my late classmate for saying this. I want to give her flowers publicly, even though she may not be hearing the physical to hear it. No deposit, no service. You don't give me no deposit, no service. Period. And I want to encourage all of my other barbers, cosmetologists, estheticians, nail technicians, repeat after me. No deposit, no service. Now, if you have a loyal clientele and you know how they be, then you and that person can work out an agreement because you have an accord with them. And you know they won't be shisty. But this is why now so many folks in the beauty industry are saying no deposit, no service.
Yeah,
That
but this one is not about, this wouldn't even have worked if he paid that guy barber ahead. He would have demanded that money back. This guy was irate. He felt like the barber pushed his hairline back. And once you do something wrong when you cut somebody's hair, it's not like you can glue it back on their head.
no, I understand that, but
This
there's a way of
edge.
there's a way of how to go through. You have to let hair grow back. There's no way to like redo your hairline. You have to let it go back. But what I'm saying is, and why I said all that is, that man did not care that those babies was in there when he pulled out that pow pow. People don't care no more, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that's a major problem. That was scary to me when I saw that. And that man said the only reason why he stopped, so you literally was going to take somebody's life over a haircut. He's talking about the only reason why he stopped is because he don't want to go back to jail. He needs to go back to jail. And then, so that means he's a prior felon. So if you're a prior felon, what are you even doing with a pow pow? This whole thing is problematic.
That's why I said he probably on his way back.
He need to be. He need to be, because he's like totally unhinged. Like totally. It's sad. It's very sad. All right, guys. Let me roll into our first story, because that was a one-off. I just happened to see that right before we was about to go live, and I was like, oh gosh, I want to address that. So let me go roll into our first story of the day. I'm gonna do this Sam's Club story. So chicken outrage. Sam's Club shopper sparks fury by taking every roast chicken from the hot shelf on Thanksgiving Eve. Then the heart-trending reason for her behavior emerged. But this woman right there, you're going to see it, she was very upset with her. Let's take a listen.
Oh no, you took my son. I ain't no come in my face. I'm sorry. Come in my face. You're not used to nothing. That's why you're doing this. You know, you like don't even talk to you. Yeah, that's a good. You know, people not used to when they do stuff like that. Don't get out of character.
Ripo.
¿Está regalando?
Sí.
Gracias.
Señor. Señor. Was the money.
So a woman sparked outrage inside a Sam's Club on Thanksgiving Eve after she cleaned out the hot shelf of all its roast chickens. The unknown customer was caught on camera being confronted by another shopper who questioned her large purchase. The shouting woman pointed to the cart of roast chickens and said, "You're not used to nothing. That's why you're doing this." No, you're not used to S-H-I-T is what she said. That's why you did that. That's some BS though. A Christian like you don't do stuff like that. As she left the Los Angeles store, the shopper cried, "The chick took all the chicken." But after the video was shared online, another clip emerged showing the alleged greedy woman handing out dinners to homeless people from the streets, a street stall. Social media users had originally jumped on the bandwagon, berating the customer, only to backtrack after the second video emerged. One person said she stayed calm because she knew where the food was going. They can't get mad all they want, but they could get mad all they want, but she's amazing for being selfless on Thanksgiving. Another comment, and I don't see the damn problem. She spent her money. She can buy how many she wants. I want people to realize that the wholesale clubs are meant to buy in bulk, another added. The video emerged as the grocery giants, including Walmart, which owns Sam's Club and Target, slashed their Thanksgiving dinner prices in the run up to the holiday. Hold on one second, guys. I want where am I at? I lost my space. She can buy. I want. Okay, Walmart said its Thanksgiving basket costs less than $40 and feed 10 people compared to roughly 56 last year. But the cheaper feast comes with fewer dishes, just 22 items this year, down from 29 in 2024, and a higher share of Walmart's own great value products instead of national brands. Last year's version included both rosette and sweet potatoes, a pre-made pecan pie, and 2 cans of mushroom soup. This year skips the pecan pie, drops the sweet potatoes, and cuts the soup cans in half. It's also amidst several extras from last year, such as miniature marshmallows, corn muffin mix, and fresh onions and celery, while swapping pricier cranberry sauce for fresh cranberries. Aldi and Target made similar changes, trimming their menus and leaning heavily on own brand products to keep prices down. Now, that is a picture of the same woman with her family with the trays of food to give out to the homeless people, and that is why she bought the chicken. And this is what some people were writing. Everyone was mad at this lady for no reason. She did it for the homeless without even using it for clout, unlike other influencers. LOL. I want people to realize that the wholesale clubs are meant to buy in bulk. I don't see the damn problem. She spent her money. She can buy how many she want. She stayed calm because she knew where the food was going. They could get mad all they want, but she was amazing for being selfless on Thanksgiving. Aldi, long known for its discount approach, offered a $40 Thanksgiving spread for 10, down from 47 last year. The German chain swapped out butterball turkeys for cheaper Jenny O birds, saving roughly 30 cents a pound. Butterball is still available for 97 cents a pound for those willing to pay extra. Aldi also replaces single pie crust with a frozen 2-pack and shaved a few cents off carrots, potatoes, and onions. Target's 7-item Thanksgiving kit has also gone more budget friendly, swapping brands like Del Monte and Campbell's for its own private labels. The Minneapolis-based retailer says its kit is for 4 people costs under $20, about the same as last year and down from $5 in 2023. The Nelson survey found that 58% of Americans are deeply worried about food prices, while 31% say they now prefer cheaper store brands. Food costs were up 2.7% in September compared with a year earlier, according to the federal data, while consumer confidence dropped to its lowest level in 3.5 years. So, the people were quick to judge her at first, especially that one calling her saying she ain't used to nothing. That's why she's taking all the chickens. It was a mess. You right, human nature. God bless her. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So while she was doing this for all the right reasons, there is if you were gonna do this, I'm pretty sure everybody knows on Thanksgiving Eve, that's when everybody does they shopping for the hot foods that they're not gonna cook. So while it was a selfless act, she could have called in and ordered these rotisserie chickens, however many she needed, and they would have got it ready for her. I feel like to take every last single one of them when there's people there that want to buy one, in itself, you're saying they don't deserve it. I was here first. And I don't subscribe to that neither. I feel like everybody has something that they got to do. There's some people out here that don't know how to cook, and they buy these rotisserie chickens, the Popeyes turkeys, all this because they don't know or they don't have time to cook. Whatever the reason is, I don't subscribe to taking everything, especially not if somebody's honestly saying, "Hey, I want one." It was simple for her to just give out one. You know what I'm saying? She hadn't paid for it yet. She could have gave the lady one, and the argument probably would have been over. I just don't subscribe to. I got here first, so I'm gonna take all of them, and it's okay with me.
Mm. Savannah, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey everyone. While I love, in my opinion, I am gonna wholeheartedly disagree with her on this story. I think we as a society are quick to judge someone's actions, and uh, this one backfired. I think I actually know someone, an organization that does something very similar,
Mhm.
and they don't call in for large orders. They usually go in earlier in the day when the store uh, sets out like their first order of rotisserie chickens, and then they would buy them up, uh, but they serve for, like, they do their meals similar to like Meals on Wheels, or I know they service a lot of seniors in the community, and they started this up around the pandemic because there were no delivery services that were going out. I think I'm glad that the lady who bought up, who took the chicken, wasn't confrontational and continued to make her purchase, because she easily could have easily went sideways here. Um, I just think the lady who was berating her was completely wrong. Even if she didn't want, if her purpose was to be handing them out, she has the right to purchase whatever she wants to and however many she wants to. We all know one person isn't going to eat that amount of food. There was another reason behind that. And I just think sometimes we got to pause and analyze before we go in there all, body and pow and want to um, put someone on blast for whatever their personal agenda is. uh, I'm glad that there was a follow up to this story and it was put on social media, and that she didn't do this for someone for clicks and views or someone to start a GoFundMe or hey, let's. No, she did it because she had a cause in her heart. She knows how big the need is out here on the streets, and she used her own money to buy whatever she wanted. So I kudos to her for not being confrontational, for this not going left, and for the cause that she actually bought all that meat for. I think she should be um, applauded for her actions, and I do um, believe she is owed an apology. And even if she doesn't get it, I think that she was completely in the wrong, in the right for doing what she did. She didn't need to explain to anyone her reasons behind it.
Yeah, I'm feeling like that too. Julius, your thoughts?
She didn't steal it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't go up in there, throw a whole bunch of things in the carriage, and then run out. She went to the register and paid for it on her own dime and went out and served the community. So with this one, Diva, this is me. I am minded my business.
Mm. Yeah, I'm with girlfriend on this. First come, first serve. Now, if she was at the rotisserie thing, snatching chickens out of people's hands, then we got to talk about it. But she put it in her cart, and let's just say, first of all, I'm with you, Savannah. We already know that one person can't eat all them chickens. Obviously, she must have had some cause for it, right? But we don't want to think. And for that woman, the woman, if she was really wanted one that bad, she could have asked her for one. But for her to say you ain't about nothing, you ain't never had nothing, that's why you doing something like this. She went all the way left on her. So, which is crazy. It always kills me how when people trying to say somebody else is wrong, but then you wrong telling them they wrong the way that you doing it. And like somebody else said too, she wasn't doing this for clicks and views. Somebody else saw her out there giving out the Thanksgiving dinners. So I'm going to go ahead and roll into the next story. And the next story is this Chicago grooming scandal. I don't know what's going on in Chicago, but somebody needs to revamp that education system altogether. Because if I'm not mistaken, the young lady who son was being bullied and she got beat up by the gang of kids, I think that was in Chicago, right? So let's get into this story.
Had been hiding for years. He had asked me to perform oral sex.
This is a complex story. What we found were years' worth of sexual misconduct allegations, grooming allegations, nearly identical stories spanning more than a decade, and all stemming from one Chicago public high school.
Predators love to choose their prey.
I was groomed like something like I didn't even think this could happen.
My colleagues and I spoke to 12 former students, a former inspector with Chicago Public Schools, and combed through hundreds of pages of documents to find out what was really happening. I'm Bennett Haberly, and this is the story behind the story. The story initially came to us as a tip. Someone had seen our coverage about another investigation we had done on Chicago's low rate of sexual assault convictions. And because of our previous reporting, they felt that we were the right people to take on this story. We first spoke with Anna several months ago. Tell me what happened and why you want to come forward.
Whew.
She graduated in 2012. Anna came forward to us and was willing to talk. And that took a lot of courage on her part. It took a lot of conversations with us to build trust. But our whole goal is to really understand the truth, to understand what exactly transpired here. Anna said that she began a relationship with her former teacher, Dennis Cass, several months after graduating high school. During their relationship, she knew that they were open to seeing other people, but what she didn't know, according to her, was that she alleges Cass was seeing other students, other former students.
And then unfortunately, I found out I wasn't the only one.
In April of 2022, she made this Facebook post. What the Facebook post helped us do was sort of understand, was what she was saying verifiable? Were there other people out there who had similar experiences? And sure enough, there were. That thread kind of blew up, didn't it?
It went viral.
There were other Facebook posts that were similar to hers, or people that found her because of her Facebook post. And it really started to build a little bit of momentum that she's alleging this happened to her, and there are people that she does not know that are describing similar experiences. And so that is when we started to understand that this may be bigger than just one teacher, one instance, one concern about behaviors.
This was a scheme, panned out, that started in high school and panned out outside of high school.
Those who say they were either approached or engaged in a sexual relationship with Dennis Cass said that he would befriend them through Facebook Messenger, that they would use Facebook Messenger to communicate for school assignments, and then they believed because they already had that thread going, that after they graduated, he would use that same line of communication to ask them questions about their life. And initially, they started off pretty innocuous. How's school going? How's college? What are you studying? How is your workload? Is everything okay? But at points along those timelines, things changed.
He would just ask stuff like, you have to try different flavors of ice cream to see what you really like.
Why are you stuck on vanilla when there's chocolate and Oreos and rainbow or whatever?
The flavors of ice cream was obviously an innuendo for having multiple sexual partners. And that is what these women told us. At least 7 teachers or administrators from this same campus have resigned or been fired amid the allegations of misconduct since 2017.
It looked like he was eating me with his eyes. That's what they would say. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional.
Charles Smith is the former principal at Infinity High School, which is one of 4 high schools that make up Little Village Lawndale High School. We spoke to a young woman who alleges that they exchanged numbers weeks after she graduated high school, and that they had a sexual encounter after she graduated. Now, Smith has vehemently denied these allegations. To this day, he maintains that he did nothing wrong. In February of 2023, Smith was removed as principal amid an investigation into allegations of serious misconduct. Hi, this message is from Mr. Smith. During the course of the Inspector General's investigation and through our reporting, he had contacted an attorney who communicated with us. There was a lot of pushback. They many times had threatened to sue us if we reported this story. Charles Smith had resigned from his position at Chicago Public Schools and gone to work in U46, which is the second largest school district in the state. It covers Elgin and some areas out west. It wasn't until our story aired that that district realized what the allegations were when he worked at Chicago Public Schools. As a result of that, they placed him on temporary administrative leave, and they began investigating him and 2 other educators who had left Chicago Public Schools and gone to work at U46. Fast forward several months, and Charles Smith was fired by U46. And the 2 other teachers who had left CPS and went over there, they resigned. So our reporting had almost immediate impact.
I mean, the culture that we're looking at here, where you have multiple different administrators and teachers that are grooming and preying on students and sexually abusing them, is just beyond the pale.
We unearthed something that these women felt had stayed in the shadows for too long. They felt manipulated. They felt that they had been groomed in these particular situations.
It's pretty easy to target pretty much anybody at that school.
I don't think anybody should go through what I went through.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really wrong.
The teachers in this case, those accused, have either stayed silent or through their attorneys have denied the allegations. And that's certainly their right. But what the findings of the Inspector General were that this went on unabated for years. And the Inspector General cited our reporting, our interviews, in his 300-page report that spelled out that the behaviors of 8 teachers, either engaged in sexual misconduct or targeting former students, suggests a widespread problem.
The report found that staff at this high school routinely crossed boundaries with students and created an environment where grooming behaviors might have seemed like normal interactions. The Inspector General is also recommending that Chicago Public Schools retrain staff and create a district-wide policy that would ban teachers from having romantic or sexual conduct with any former student.
Reporting like this is important because it can affect change. It's a cornerstone of our democracy. Investigative reporting is hard. It takes time. It isn't the easiest story to tell. And we had to dig in order to do this. But as a result, change was affected. We have had teachers who have been accused of misconduct, had those allegations substantiated, and now can't work at the nation's 4th largest school district. On top of that, the district itself is considering a policy change that would prohibit, restrict, or ban teachers from having social media or email communication with students and with graduates up until a year after they graduated. So it clearly forced CPS to re-examine what boundaries were, what its policies were, and whether they have said it publicly or not, it has gotten their attention. Thanks for watching The Story Behind the Story. If you ever have story ideas, please feel free to reach out to me.
Whew. In my opinion,
Chicago a hot mess. I don't believe that this happening in Chicago though. I believe these teachers get into this profession, some of them, to prey on the young. I'm seeing more of it, and it's very concerning that through all the checks that we do for our teachers and our administrators, that they don't know that these people are predators preying on our kids. I also think that it's very strange that this principal up and resigned when he was under investigation, lawyered up, and then went to another school district to prey on some more kids. I think it's sad. I think we need to rethink what we thinking when we going through the vetting process of teachers and administrators in our school system. Now that we know that there's a big variety of people that are preying on the kids for whatever reason, I think we need to vet them more closely than we ever have before to protect our youth from being victims.
I appreciate you. Yeah, very sad. I do think it's going on in more schools because we have done stories on this channel where there were other schools where the teachers were in inappropriate behaviors with the students. The thing that got me with this one is, from a technical stance, they didn't engage with minors because they waited. They were slick. They were messy, this group of teachers and the principal. They engaged with them once they graduated. Savannah, your thoughts? They might have groomed them before, but they engaged with them afterwards.
I agree, Diva. That's what I took from the story too. It was as they were grooming them, and they knew it's like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a list somewhere that they shared, and they knew exactly who to prey upon. This is going on more and more. And I agree with, in my opinion, that this is also a failure to vet people correctly. I don't think any amount of training or any changing of guidelines, it's going to prohibit a predator from being exactly who they are. This is a failure on the system. It's like I see, with people of like the clergy, when they get caught having inappropriate relationships, they're not banned from the church. Instead, they're transferred to another area, allowing them to also have access to vulnerable people. The same with, I think, with the ICE raids, the ICE recruiting that they're doing now for Homeland Security. They don't get the best of the best. There are people that are in there that have different agendas, and I think that's what this group of educators, and I'm gonna put that in parentheses because I doubt that they have that they came into this profession thinking I'm gonna be Jared from Subway type of deal. It's just, this is scary because who can you trust? There's also a power dynamic here of students who take to their teachers as a form of helping them get graduate and move on to the next, but some of them also need them as somebody to listen to, or protect them from whatever they have going on at home. It's a teacher serves so many different roles, and then these predators here knew that if they can just soothe one of their vulnerabilities, they would know that they can continue contact with these students who needed that extra attention. Will this change? I don't think so. I think the education system is completely broken. It's one of the first places that the government goes in and cuts funding, and that's how these people are able to come in under the radar. I I just think more involvement from parents, or other community leaders, or people that are and some of these students don't have anybody in their corner, so that's even difficult to say. But I don't know what the answer is to this, because our stories here have become more and more frequent. And the scary part is sometimes the ages of these students get younger and younger.
Yeah, very sad. But yeah, somebody wrote in the chat they're a bunch of predators. I agree. Julius, your thoughts?
Did you see what K and J put up? That in that area is a lot of undocumented.
Mm, the little village area has a lot of undocumented, so prime for a predator to be there because parents may be afraid to complain. Mm. There, so that means that then they're really predators, sick predators. Oh God, thank you, Miss K and J. Julius, your thoughts?
So a scandal like this, did it came to light, I'll say, like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was a couple of teachers involved from my old high school that I had. And it was a student who graduated years after me.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the clue didn't click as to what, because it was a Snapchat conversation and she shared it on social media, and it showed the dialogue, the conversation. It showed the pictures that were exchanged. It showed a lot. And the people that she name dropped, some students from my class were like, I don't know why that person always like looked at me weird. I don't know why, but I guess now it makes sense. But we didn't see it at the time because we were kids. But when that student spoke out, it was a shock. It was a surprise. And, you know, people who were in administration we were supposed to respect had these thoughts. So I share that in saying it's just not in the Chicago area. Now this kind of scandal hasn't happened since that time, and I want to be clear, but it's not just in Chicago. It's everywhere. And with certain folks and systems enabling this behavior, putting this behavior underneath the rug, moving people around, it's going to get a whole lot worse. That's it.
Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and roll into our last story. And the last story is this Campbell Soup's exec who said some very egregious things, and the whistleblower that said something. You know, retaliation is real. They love to say that, zero tolerance for retaliation. But yeah, in some companies, they full of crap when they say that. Let me go ahead and share screen so we can get into this story.
Accused of saying some pretty wild stuff, like that the meat in the soup is bioengineered from a 3D printer, and allegedly going on an offensive and in some case racist rant. It's all because a former employee who's suing the company says he secretly recorded Campbell's VP and Chief Information Security Officer Martin Bally during what that worker describes as an hour-long tirade. We've got the recording, and we want to warn you here, it's pretty harsh. Listen.
We have shit for poor people. Who buys our shit? It's not healthy. Now that I know what the in it, even in a can of soup, I look at it, look at meat, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer.
In the lawsuit, the former employee also alleges Bally made racist remarks about Indian workers, calling them idiots. When he reported the tirade to company management, he was terminated in retaliation, allegedly, for complaining about that alleged behavior. Campbell's has not confirmed the statements to NBC, but did say that if they were made, they do not reflect the company's values. NBC News also reached out to Bally, but haven't heard back. Let's bring in Camila Bernal. Camila, this is just what we played is just a little bit of this, right? There's more to these allegations?
There's many more of these allegations, and I also read through the lawsuit, Hallie, and what this former employee says is that this all happened over a conversation about his salary. He says they sat down about a year ago to talk through all of these things, and that's when he began speaking badly about the company, saying things like this was processed food and saying this was for poor people, as you heard there on that recording. And like you mentioned, this goes on for a while, and I want you to listen to more of that conversation.
Everybody thinks our recipes are like crown jewels or not. They're important, but no, it's the process. It's the process that makes the food. You know, the ingredients are in the back of the can.
So not only does he talk about the food, but this lawsuit also alleges that this VP went on to talk about employees at the company, and the lawsuit alleges that they're racist comments. Take a listen to those comments.
They couldn't put for the dumb.
So clearly there was no filter during this conversation. The former employee also alleges that the executive admitted to going to the office high on edibles. I mean, again, this goes on and on about a number of different things here. And apparently the former employee reported all of this to his manager. He says that some time went on and he wasn't encouraged to go to HR. And so he got fired. And what he's saying now is that he believes his firing was retaliation for him coming forward and speaking out about all of this, Hallie.
Camila, we talked a little bit about some of what we heard from Campbell's on these alleged comments here. What else is this former employee, this former worker saying?
Well, first of all, I want to go back to what Campbell's is saying, because what they're saying is that they use 100% chicken. They say it's USDA approved. They go over the list and essentially say that all of this, that this current employee said was false. They also, I want to note, have this employee on leave while they investigate all of this. So he has not been fired yet, but he is on leave. And I want to read part of the statement that Campbell's put out where they say we are proud of the food that we make, the people who make it, and the high quality ingredients that we use. We know that millions of people use Campbell's products, and we are honored by the trust they put in us. The comments made about our food are completely inaccurate and absurd. So again, they also emphasize that the employee who made these comments, the vice president, works in cybersecurity in IT, and so they say he has nothing to do with the making of the actual food. On the other hand, you have this former employee who, of course, is suing, but who also says that essentially this was extremely emotional and really damaging for him, not just emotionally, but financially as well. Talks about being embarrassed and just being put out on the spot, essentially, for all of this, when he alleges that all he wanted to do was come out and tell the truth. I want to read part of his statement and what he's saying now. He says, this situation has been very hard on Robert. This is from his attorney. He says he thought Campbell's would be thankful that he reported Martin's behavior, but instead he was abruptly fired. We look forward to obtaining justice for Robert. So as this lawsuit plays out in court, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Campbell has not verified the audio. We have not been able to verify the audio, but again, those allegations are really alarming, Hallie.
Camila Bernal, thanks for staying on top of this one for us. Potentially more to come on that. Appreciate it.
We thank you for watching, and remember.
Whew, how crazy is that? Let me just share a screen before I come to you, in my opinion. Give me 1 second. So lawsuit claims Campbell is at mock poor people who buy its food. A former employee claims in a lawsuit that a Campbell's company executive called the company's products highly processed food for poor people. Robert, a former cybersecurity analyst for the company formerly known as Campbell Soup Company, filed a racial discrimination and racial harassment suit on November 20th in Wayne County, Michigan Circuit Court. He alleges that during a November 2024 meeting with the company's vice president of information technology, Martin Belli, the executive said Campbell's food is highly processed food for poor people. He reportedly recorded his meeting with Belli, which he expected to be a discussion about his salary, and shared it with the local news, a TV station. He alleges in the suit that Belli also made racist comments about Indian workers at the company, calling them idiots and saying he disliked working with them. Belli also told Gaza he came to work high on marijuana edibles. That's what the person suing alleges. In the recording shared with the news, the person can be heard saying he doesn't buy Campbell's products because he doesn't know what is in them. We have that's for poor people. You can hear the male voice say in the recording, a copy of which was shared with US Today, I don't buy Campbell products, barely anymore. The person went on to say that when he looks at a can of Campbell Soup, he thinks it's bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. Do you? The person said. In a statement regarding the lawsuit, Campbell said, if the comments heard on the audio recording were in fact made by Mr. Belli, they are unacceptable. Such language does not reflect our values and the culture of our company. We do not tolerate that kind of language under any circumstances. Belli is temporary on leave. The company conducts investigation, Campbell said. In the lawsuit, the former employee said he informed his manager, listed as director of cybersecurity operations at Campbell's, and on his LinkedIn page, about Belli's alleged comments on January 10th. Gaza wanted to report the incident to Human Resources, but they encouraged him not to do it. He said he was fired on January 30th for filing complaints of racial discrimination and racial harassment, along with other reasons he alleges in the suit. Bali and Apparel are listed as defendants in the suit, along with Campbell's. Garza alleges they were responsible for his termination, created a hostile work environment, and violated his civil rights. He is seeking damages for emotional, economic, and non-economic economic damages, including stress, humiliation, embarrassment, mental anguish, as well as attorney fees and costs. After being fired, he said it took 10 months to find another job, he told the news. They have a model. We treat you like family here at Campbell's. Come work for us. He told the news, we treat our employees like family. That's not the case. We're proud of our food we make, the people who are making, and the high quality ingredients we use to provide consumers with good food at a good value, Campbell said in his statement. We know that millions of people use Campbell's products, and we're honored by the trust they put in us. The comments heard on the recording about our food are not only inaccurate, they are patently absurd. The Campbell Soup Company changed its name in September 24 to the Campbell's Company to reflect the full breadth of the company's portfolio. CEO Mark Klaus said at the time, the company also markets paste and Prego sauces, V8 juices, and other products. So you know what we got to find out? All the food that falls up underneath their brand and let it go. Disgusting behavior. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I think this is crazy. Them putting them on administrative leave is a slap in our face to me, because you know if that's his voice or not.
That part.
Clearly, you done talked to this man before. He's a VP. I don't care about you talking about now he over cybersecurity. I don't care. You gave him the VP spot, so he's the vice president. It didn't say vice president of cybersecurity. You know what? I feel like that's what they do to gaslight you, to make you feel like they're doing their job. No, I want him terminated. I want a full evaluation of everybody that's working here to feel like y'all feel the same way. Because let's be clear, whether you poor, rich, however, but somebody's been used Campbell's before.
That part.
Whether it's a cream of chicken to put in a dressing, cream of mushroom, whatever it is, you've used them before. And to know that they overpace, I don't eat the ragu stuff, but to know that they overpace mild salsa, I'll never buy it again. Okay, it's not my favorite, but I'll never buy it again. I'll make fresh salsa before I buy theirs. Campbell's will not have $1, a penny, a nickel, a dime from me.
Thank you. In my opinion, Savannah, your thoughts?
You know, sometimes whistleblowers are needed to pull the veil back on these companies and organizations that are poisoning the public, and we are not clear, because most of us don't read the ingredients on the back of labels. It doesn't matter whether it's a food product or a gel product, a first aid item. This summer I started reading No More Tears by Johnson & Johnson, and all the corners that they cut, and the how they went around regulation on making things safe for our infants and for just everyday use on things that we use, even the adhesive on Band-Aids. On how that was causing rashes, and on some levels, first-degree burns on people who had mild eczema. But these companies were not fined. So whistleblowers are needed. I think there's some truth to what he said. And I just didn't take to that this is poor people food. No, this is, I know Campbell's is, like, in my opinion, said people use it in their recipes, and there are other products that they sell. But this administration did roll back a lot of the EPA and other rules and regulations that companies were to abide by to make products safer and report what the information that the public should know. And so they no longer have to like let us know how many calories are in a food item. That is no longer required. Or what is in our cereals. It's just not. I look at food now differently. I see when I was growing up, things were just a lot more simpler, cleaner. We grew our own vegetables and had quite a bit of fruit on our land. But even the fruit now that we get, it's so tainted with pesticides that we have to not only wash and rewash and dry off, and before we even consume some of these products. We look at our young girls now, a 9, 10-year-old can look 14, 15 because of all the additives and hormones that they're adding into food. So I don't think this is just an isolated incident to Campbell, but I'm glad that this whistleblower put it out there. And somebody in a position as him in cybersecurity, I'm pretty sure he had quite a bit of insight into things that they do. But I don't think that Campbell's is gonna have to change their policy unless the consumers stop buying it and they take a dip in stock or in product. But this administration is not going to change, not going to require them to change how they do their practices. So I appreciate him for pulling the curtain back and showing that the emperor is really not wearing all their clothes.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. And now that I know, like, I didn't realize, of course they had other products. I just didn't realize, but I'm gonna make sure I don't engage in them other products. This is horrific. Julius, your thoughts?
Sometimes the truth has to be known for true, however that is. We are definitely in the find out stage. I feel it is taking kind of long, but we are definitely in the find out stage, and yeah, everybody is coming out. It seems like, but it is painful for me because I love Campbell's products. I love the chicken soup. I love the cream of chicken. Um, but I do think that folks do deserve to speak if they see something that is not right. I stand on that. No matter how much I love my cream of chicken, I still might get my cream of chicken, but I encourage that person to speak.
Yeah. The sad part is that you're getting they're firing you, like you're getting fired, right? Yeah, can you say Target? Wayne said, yeah, Target is still suffering to this day. And so we need a person that has a bigger voice like Jamal Bryant. I hope maybe he has seen this and to encourage the people to stop using Campbell's products. Because I think there is truth to, they said a drunk person speaks a sober heart. I forgot how the saying goes, but he was allegedly high on edibles, but he was probably speaking truth. That those products, that a lot of it is just not good ingredients. And it's just sad. It broke my heart. But regardless of, even if I let go what this man said about the product, what he said about people was egregious too. Like Indians are stupid. Like that was just he and they investigated him, but the employee that blew the whistle, they fired him automatically for whatever reason they fired him for. But this guy allegedly said all of this stuff. and they just going to suspend him while they investigate. That's the messiness of it all. Listen, I'm going to stay connected to that story, with the Soup and the Chicago, grooming situation, and let you know how it all pans out. But in the meantime, people, y'all know the routine. A drunk man tells no lies. Thank you, in my opinion. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, a drunk man's tongue is a sober man's mind. Thank you. It's so many. A drunk mind tells a sober truth. Yes, y'all. Thank you for all, giving me the definitions there. This is just, it's horrible. It's an understatement. It's very horrible, but y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do the Diva a favor, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.